Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. How we doing? Previously on Kimba TV. If it doesn't, I'm okay with it too. Cause I can, if Consuela is gonna show up tomorrow or later tonight, I'm gonna take a bigger long than the long I have right now. Remember the whole I wish I didn't shave so much? If it doesn't come back, that's okay. I'm always gonna have a coulda, shoulda, woulda. The only reason why I didn't get stopped out on the 75786 pullback is because I shaved a little bit, It's really just, is this gonna hold? It just did the gap fill. So yeah, is it gonna, get in and then get out? Yeah, I guess if you're really bullish and you don't think that it's gonna make a lower low, then this is the Kimba boxes where you would probably try to long. But yeah, I want to see if Consuela is going to clean the basement. But yeah, I guess this is a pretty crucial place where if it was going to bounce, it would maybe bounce. Kind of hard to tell. I guess if you think you're going to get a higher low, this is it. It would the bullish retest of the box, basically. So yeah, it's either a long here or you're going to wait for the lower low, probably. Something like that, Mark? Yeah, all it really has to do is get back above 106. So get above 106 and it's Bellagio. And maybe it could bounce from here or maybe it's going to go a little bit lower. So yeah, plan for today is probably just I don't need to take this one, but yeah, this one. Haskir, what's going on? Synonym. Fred, let's get it. Ahim, let's get it. US markets just opened? Yes. Did you like the little alert? Marvel, thank you for the resub, Marvel. Oman says, don't you think that too many people are waiting for Consuela? I don't know how many people are waiting for Consuela. I would actually say that maybe there's too many people not waiting for Consuela. One of these is gonna work. Don't give up, Luigi. Remember what I said? I don't know if I would be comfortable in a long with all of these underwater longs.
You just said.
So as long as you heard all the data that we talked about yesterday in anticipation for today, you should be all set. Arrow Fury says, imagine these longers get away with it. That's possible, but then that means that we're above 106, 200, right? For sure, it's going to get back into value area low, right? Minimum. It should be able to do that, right, Arrow Fury? It's gotta be at least be able to do that. I mean, I don't know how much weight that you would put into VWAP, but it should get above VWAP, right? And turn it into support. So we'll just sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Arrow Fury says, yeah, I'm getting stressed with my short from higher with no TPs taken. Should go way lower. Yeah, if I were you, brother, if it goes above VWAP and it certainly gets back above value area low, then it's bullish and the golden pocket held. So at least you know what to do. We have the song of the year, the album of the year, the record of the year, and remix of the year from the LGBTQ awards. Remember? Gap fill, but not mine. Yeah. Wait, stop the music. Wandu says, looks like we are getting into a short. We got into one yesterday, live, pa-pink, Wandu. Make sure you get caught up. Yeah, you can try to get into a short, but you should have been in the short yesterday. Yeah, but that's okay. Make sure you rewind, all right? Today I'm looking to go long, believe it or not. Yeah, but just be careful, okay? I'm rooting for you, big dog, but I'm getting ready to TP the short and go long, if you know what I mean, you know? Kachoya! Wait. What the fuck did I just see in the chat? Stop. What did I just see? Neo Delinho says, your hype is making me want to top long. Well, what I would encourage you to do is go to the YouTube and watch the highlights from the weekend. So I talk about pretty much every single possible scenario. I just drew this earlier too, but actually, we drew this on Friday and I believe on Saturday as well when we were talking about which failed auction is going to happen, right? So, and you know what the best part about a day like today is? Here's the best part about a day like today is I didn't get stopped out right here. I'm sure as hell not going to get stopped out right here. And you know what the craziest part is yesterday, when some people were talking about all-time high, I was already anticipating this worst case scenario. You know, so I mean, I only have 40% of the long left. I already put in this blood, sweat, and tears to take the long, so I don't have to worry about taking a long today. All I have to do is just execute what I thought about yesterday. Think about that. So that's the best part. But are you? I don't think you're top longing. I said it a while ago. But does it really matter if your entry is here? Does it really matter if your entry is here, 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 here? If you're aiming for, yeah. So it really just comes down to everything that we've been talking about. Any long before 105 is probably Gucci. Anything before you leave this box, it's Gucci. You have like your RTH gap. So if this is the dip the tip and let it rip and you have the invalidation, all you need to do is make sure that you're in a long before it leaves the invalidation zone, right? So this is all by the book. You needed to get, I even said it in the morning, you needed to get into the long if like, you know, if you're not going to clean this, right? Kimba box. And if you're going to not take this, then you just need to make sure that you get it before that wick. That's it. And then let's say, for example, you're not in a long yet. I mean, I would just wait for like a trident. This looks like trident. So it just changed structure. So somewhere in this zone, you would want it to see it turn into support. Okay? But I don't want you to make sure that you're prepared and planned out. This is exactly why yesterday I was already thinking about this. I was already thinking about worst case scenario. Like, think about that. There were people talking about all-time high yesterday here. I was already thinking about worst case scenario. So all I have to do today is literally just execute what I was planning yesterday. So we're Gucci. Yeah, but make sure that you understand like conceptually what we're looking at, you know, look at the higher time frame. So it really just depends. Like, you don't want to try to make up shit today. You know what I'm, Neo Delinho, you see how everything that I do is just an execution of the preparation from the day before? And like, look, like, let's say, for example, it does go like this and I get stopped out on the rest of my longs, then all I need to do is look for the CVD bull div and wait for all of the longs to get stopped out. So, you know, like I'm not going to get stopped out on my long. Why would I if it's a higher low? I didn't get stopped out on that one live with you guys. And then last but not least, if you are somebody that remembers this conversation, then you should pull the swing high, swing low, and wait for the golden pocket to get turned into support. Alrighty, so there's always another trade. So show me that you know what you're doing. You know, are you actually bullish? You know, we talked about the failed auction so many times. Do you understand RTH gap? Yeah, all of those stuff, all of those things. But make sure, and you know, things like I said this in the morning too, Neo, but make sure you have a plan A, plan B, plan C. You know, all the shit that we talk about every single day. Today is like a pop quiz, you know? So you want to be prepared for everything. And like we've been saying for the last couple of days, the most important thing is that you prepare for the hard stuff, right? If you're on a long, you need to be thinking about it nuking. That's what I did all day yesterday. So none of this shit is surprising to me. You know? Yeah, any questions? You guys Gucci? Let's get nasty on these hoes! Yeah, but this is the 2 hour.
The tooth-shaped motherfucker, the math is the math.
Yeah, so if you go back and look at the highlights from Friday, I think it's actually playing out pretty well. Yeah, but again, we still need to get above 106 and flip that bitch into support. So even if you decide to take a long there, I don't think you're wrong, you know? But the difference is you just have to be honest with yourself. Yeah, like at this point, like you had so many chances to see failed auction. Do you have a plan A, plan B, plan C? What are you gonna do if it doesn't do what you want it to do? Are you thinking worst case scenario? Every day we have an opportunity to check ourselves on that, you know? So remember, that's the real juice. Yeah, but Neo Delinho, regardless of you're going to end up longing or shorting, I'm always going to root for you, brother. Make sure that you're prepared, okay? If you're showing up and you're thinking to yourself, oh my God, I missed the golden pocket again, you know? I would hope you have a plan, right? Because if you've been watching the stream for 2 weeks and the only thing that you had going for yourself is let's let Consuela sweep, you haven't improved at all. You don't have a plan B. You don't have a plan C. I don't think you're really looking at data. I don't know if you're really looking at gap plays. I don't know if you're looking at VWAP getting turned into support. Like everything that we've talked about all day, you know, and all week. So Azaz says, look on the clip from Friday. Okay, let's take a look. We're waiting to see what the clean level is and how it reacts. All right, and even that is kind of, we already talked about that going into it. How like this was gonna be pretty important, really all the way down to like this zone, right? So if you can just get the fuck above, you know, if you can do that, then that's exactly what the bulls would want to see. But until we get above this zone, you know, it's gonna just probably be something like this, yeah? Oh! Oh, shit! Go low leverage and fucking long everything all the way down to 102.5 if you're really bullish. I'm never gonna be able to like AIM talks. This is where you have to go with your subconscious bias. I would say that after it's all said and done, you know, depending on how many longs you took, you're either bullish or you're not, brother. And I think, you know, as somebody that's been watching me for the last 2 weeks and, you know, I was the one telling you to wait until 104, 105, right? So anything below 105.8, I've always considered to be an all right long entry, especially if you're aiming for 110, 111, 113, 125. You know what I mean? Now, if you're going to go high leverage and you need to be pixel perfect, then you need to juggle things that are right in front of you, right? It would be a lot better to stop out all the longs that are in right now, right? But do they need to get stopped out? Is this your first time watching open interest, right? When it's low volume like today, the confluence is going to be really strong. So if Bitcoin is going to pump, S&P is probably pumping. If Bitcoin is going to dump, S&P is probably dumping, you know? And trading and taking positions during overnight trading, during ETH when RTH is closed, when the CME RTH isn't helping you, that's a completely different environment than right now with S&P and RTH rocking and rolling. Okay? This is exactly why I said to you guys, I don't care if it's the weekend. I don't care if it's Saturday night. I will put blind limits and take this long, you know? And I rather be in at the bottom of the failed auction, you know, than trying to have to not get stopped out or, you know, try to chase it. So if anything, this is kind of the reason why, you know, the preparation is really key, because you can start to kind of anticipate something like this and you're already thinking to yourself, or as you guys saw in the other clip, right? So like, if I was in some of your guys, how many people still don't have a long? I would be waiting for the golden pocket to get flipped into support. And really, if you were going to do that, why the fuck wouldn't you just get in before the 105.8? You know, and then that's your invalidation on any sort of pullback. So if you still don't have a long, I would be looking at 057505 rotation. I would be looking at Trident, like we talked about. Okay. And you know, like, as long as these guys are here, it's always, I think, possible for Consuelo to go clean. Yeah, I mean, first things first, I think if you weren't in any sort of long, you know, I would assume you started chasing when it invalidated the dip the tip. So, you know, if it's bouncing, this is the zone, whether it's an invalidation of the short or you want to start to maybe think about going long before there. You know, and coincidentally, like, that's kind of the bullish retest that you're also looking for too, if it does pull back. All right. But like, whether you're in a short or a long, I don't care if you're in a long from right here, bro. If you're not thinking about worst case, everything that we talked about this whole week was just a waste.
What did he say?
You must have not gotten round tripped as much as I have. And if that's the case, God bless you. But me personally, I don't care what entry you have, long or short. You better be fucking thinking worst case scenario. Otherwise, like, you know, you're probably going to get got at some point. This is when you're supposed to have people say, all-time high, let's go. You never want people getting bullish right there. You know, you want people getting bullish here, not here. But 20 more minutes on the 30-minute candle close. 19 Turbo says, hello, Kimba. I just got home. Do I need to rewind? I don't think you do, but if you want to, I would encourage it. But you're one hell of a trader, 19 Turbo. You know what I mean? If I just went to the 2 hour and I drew this for you, I think it would all make sense. So this is the 2 hour, okay? Azaz has the clip for you. something like that. Yeah. So first things first, 19 Turbo, structure, right? Wayne, $8.88. Yeah, you don't have to do that, Wayne. You can always just chat and I'll always see it, but I appreciate you, big dog. Wayne, everything goes directly to the mods and admins. So on behalf of them, thank you, brother. Is ETH on your radar? No, not really, Wayne. When it pumps, you're gonna start speculating in alts. Well, so Wayne, first off, exclamation welcome. And Wayne, I don't know if on the YouTube you have the 1440p, but it's not as, I think on YouTube there's a 6 or 7 second delay, and I think on Twitch it's a 3-second delay. So, but however on Twitch it's 1080p streaming, so you can pick where you want to watch from. But you want to take a look. So I've been watching ETH BTC for about 2 years and a half with the Lions. I've been streaming for 3.5 years, and for a majority of that, ever since September of 2022, we've had this ETH BTC trend line. Do you understand that when ETH BTC is bullish, that means that, hey, maybe you want to allocate more money, more capital to ETH than Bitcoin? Does that make sense? Do you understand that part? Because if ETH BTC is bullish, it doesn't mean that ETH itself is going to pump or dump, but when ETH BTC is bullish, that means that when Bitcoin is pumping, ETH is going to pump harder. And if Bitcoin is dumping, ETH is going to dump less. And the opposite is the same. When ETH BTC is bearish, that means that when Bitcoin dumps, ETH is going to dump harder. When Bitcoin pumps, ETH is going to pump less. And so, as you can clearly see, even though Bitcoin is able to make all-time highs and all that shit, ETH is fucked. So, in my opinion, I can't long ETH. I shouldn't allocate capital towards ETH until I feel like ETH BTC is actually bullish. Does that make sense? Until I think ETH BTC is bullish, why would I might as well have money on Bitcoin, whether I'm longing or shorting. I mean, if I'm going to short, then yeah, maybe I could put it on ETH, but until ETH BTC becomes bullish, it's logically and mathematically smarter to have more money allocated to the Bitcoin long, right? So that's not really debatable in my opinion. So the ETH BTC TA I think is important for me. And then when I kind of look at all this shit, I'm kind of thinking, man, I would really like to see the 0.01615 lows, everything get cleaned. I think that would really, freak everybody out. And that's usually when we like to do the thing. The other thing too, Wayne, is if you go back to the October and November stream highlights, I don't think the way that I interpret altcoin season is everybody has extra money to spend, basically. The guy that's living paycheck to paycheck, can barely afford rent. All of a sudden, he's got a couple grand now to, talking about, hey, I got to, have $1,000, should I put it on Cardano? Should I put it on XRP? Should I put it on Shiba Inu? And so for me, the data that I'm looking at is FedNet liquidity. And do we have some sort of quantitative easing narrative by the Fed? Because that's when you have cheap money trickling down into all of retail. And that's when you get your grandparents and people that really aren't into crypto asking you if they should get into crypto. All right. And so I think if people are living paycheck to paycheck, if they can barely afford rent, I don't know where the liquidity is going to come from to pump something like Fartcoin. Okay, so I'm looking at ETH BTC. I would love to get that bullish before I start to put money into ETH or altcoins. And I would like to see FedNet liquidity and some sort of bullish narrative from the Fed. You know, rate cuts, you know, quantitative easing. Okay. Yeah, but for now, no. Yeah, but just remember, just because you're waiting for the ETH BTC low does not guarantee you that your ETH USDT entry price is going to be the lowest. So ETH BTC is the edge, but you still need to do TA and, you know, level identifying on the USDT or USD pair or whatever. So I hope that helps, Wayne. Shout outs to you, Wayne. Cut joy! Wayne, can I get a cut joy? Wandu says, did anyone take the long with me at 104.850? I mean, the good news is you can't lose, right? Do you see hidden CVD bull div? Because there isn't one. So if it holds Trident, then that's awesome. The best thing that you're going to be able to get with a Trident is a structure change. So on the 5-minute, 15-minute, 30-minute, you should start to see higher highs and higher lows. All right? If you don't see that in the increasing time frames, then you're fucked. All righty? But yeah, this is Trident. So if we're going to do like this higher high, higher low bullshit, and if we're going to have a chance to try and penetrate through the 7.5 and eventually turn the golden pocket into support where it failed to do last time, then yeah, like this has to hold. This box basically this structure has to hold. Because they planted the flag. They basically said, boom. The bulls said, this is it. So you can't lose that. So yeah, but hopefully you're starting to see that maybe it's a little bit easier, perhaps, to maybe try to take the long here, or the long here, or the long here. Maybe if some people got stopped out, that's okay. But, you know, and maybe some people got longs here, but these are so much easier. Yeah, and really, like, nobody's late on anything. Azaz has the clip for this, but... So you got this, you got that, you got this, you got that. So it's not too late. If you're really bullish, you're going to take the long when you get enough data. So this really just comes down to, like, what you really truly believe, you know? 15 minutes left on US market, and I will see you guys in about 2-3 hours. Sounds good? Young Suhi Reaving, activate the manipulation. Or maybe you won't be here when I get back. I will see you guys tomorrow. So I still want to do a proper outro. Alrighty? Let's show love to people that gave us love. He reaving! He reaving!